You may be looking at getting yourself a small portable solar generator or portable power pack, and you're wondering what the differences are between the EB55 and the AC50B. Well, today I'm going to show you the differences. There are some key differences between the two models, so let's get into it. I'm Nick from Tech Box Review. Welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to explain the differences between the EB55 and the AC50B. They are very similar in size, although the AC50B is a little bit taller, as you can see there. The video doesn't really justify the size, but they are very similar in size. With the EB55, it does have a slightly larger battery capacity of 537 watt hours. This makes it a little bit heavier at 7.5 kilos. The AC50B has a slightly smaller battery, 448 watt hours, and that makes it a little bit lighter at 6.7 kilos. They both have a 700 watt pure sine wave AC inverter. This is the Australian New Zealand standard sockets here, so 230 volts. The difference between the two inverters is that this older EB55 has a pretty typical inverter, 700 watts with a surge of 1400 watts, whereas the newer AC50B has a 700 watt inverter with power lifting mode, which can lift up to 1000 watts continuously for induction loads such as heaters, stuff like that. Although these small units do provide up to 700 watts of power, they are very small units with small batteries, so you won't be able to run 700 watts for a long time. For example, these units, if you were to run an item up to 700 watts, will only power it for say a half an hour. So just keep that in mind. Although they can run up to 700 watts, they won't last for a long time. If you were wanting to run a 700 watt item for longer, then you may consider looking at a bigger power pack. These smaller power packs are very good for smaller items such as small tellies, fans, lighting, charging your phones, laptops, stuff like that while you're away camping. Good little source of a backup power, stuff like that, but they will not run your household, so keep that in mind if you are wanting to run bigger items like kettles and microwaves and cook with them, and you may need to consider a larger model. Another big difference between the two is the screens. The EB50B has a far more interactive screen. Paired that with the Smart Control Bluetooth app, you can control your system, see your parameters, state of charge, inputs and outputs from the Bluetooth app. The DC and AC outputs can be controlled through the app as well. The screen, in my opinion, is much nicer on the AC50B. You actually got the battery percentages here, as you can see, 88%, and you have got a rough run time in hours at the bottom there as well, whereas the EB55 has a bit more of a basic screen, still pretty nice, but your battery percentages go in increments of 20%, 20, 40, 60, 80 and 100, so it's not quite as accurate, the percentage. You also have the input and output. In my opinion, the AC50B has a much nicer screen, and obviously the smart control through the Bluetooth app. But there is a big difference in outputs. With the EB55, you do have a lot more outputs, as you can see here. we've got one USB-C 100 watt output, 4 USB-A ports, 2 AC outlet ports. You've got 2 barrel ports, 12 volt barrel ports, and your cigarette lighter port. It also does have a wireless charging output at the top at 15 watts, whereas the AC50B has far less outputs. You do have the cigarette lighter port, 2 USB-C 65 watt outputs, a USB-A output, and only the 1 AC outlet here. One thing I've got to mention too is that the Eb55 has a light on the back. Although I haven't used a light before, it is there if that's something that you're looking at using. The handle's a little bit different too. The AC50B is integrated in the case, make it a little bit more sleek and streamlined, whereas the Eb55, this has a flip up handle, still quite nice. The solar panel input is still an XT60 connection, which is good, whereas the Eb55 has a MPT charge controller with a voltage range of 12 to 28 volts at 8 amps. The AC50B has a similar MPPT, 12 to 28 volts at 8.5 amps and 200 watts. One big change between the two units is the charging. For the Eb55, you only get 200 watts of AC charging, and it comes with this big power brick here. So wherever you go, you have to lug around this big power brick, and you can get 200 watts of charge through the AC port, whereas the AC50B, the power brick is built into the unit, which I reckon is very, very nice. So to charge that, you'll just need basically a the AC50B, the brick is built in to the unit, so you just need a basic kettle cord that's provided to charge this unit. This does have turbo charging also, up to 580 watts, so you can get from 0 to 80% charge in around 45 minutes, which is really, really quick on turbo charge. You do have 3 different charge modes. A quiet mode, which is if you don't want the fan to run, then you can put it on a quiet mode, standard mode, and of course the turbo charge mode. Good thing about the kettle cord is that if you do forget the cord, leave it at home, these are pretty common cords, so you'll be able to pick up this. You have these laying around your house as well, so that is, yeah, a lot better idea in my opinion. Also, the AC input is on the side of the unit on the AC50B, whereas the input is a barrel port at the front of the Eb55. The AC50B also has a UPS mode, uninterruptible power supply mode as well. It also has a power pass-through mode, so if you are charging this through the AC, the power from the AC will pass through to your appliances, which saves you using the battery on the unit. I've had the Eb55 for 2 years or more. I use this almost every day. This is a great solid unit. I've recently got gifted this by BlUETTI the last month or so, and I have been testing this out and using this daily, and this has been awesome unit. Great. Also really liking the app control, so if you are after a small portable solar generator, then the BlUETTI is a very, very solid option. These are the differences between the two, so I hope this has made your decision easier. They are both great units. You will find links in the description below for the latest pricing on these two units. Cheers for watching, guys. I'll see you on the next one.